trial and error. You have to fail a couple of times to learn the correct way of doing it. And we have a really hard time. That is not the way we learned how to do things. So it really does hold us back. How's it going, Reinventors? I'm Amelia. This is Reinventing You. Reinventors are those who have made major changes in their lives in one or more areas so that they can live a life of joy, fulfillment, and purpose. And the purpose of this channel is to inspire you so that you will reinvent your own life. I am so glad that you're here. If you're not subscribed, please do so today. If you click on the bell notification, you will be notified when I post videos twice a week. I'm coming to you today from outside. We are waiting the arrival of a very slow-moving hurricane. This video is in response to a question that one of my subscribers asked, and it's been about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I remembered the vague idea of the question, and then I couldn't find the question. I looked through like all of my notifications and finally found it in an old email. I don't know why. Anyway, I finally found this question, and so I want to thank Laurie She Blossoms for this question, and she asked this: what do you think is the biggest thing that prevents women from reinventing themselves? Sometimes I wonder if it's unfamiliarity about learning technology, iPhone, social media, etc. What do you think, or do you think that plays a role? Well, thanks, Laurie, for your question. Sorry it's taken me so long to get back to you. I have been really considering this question and wondering what the answer is, and that's all this video is about. I don't have empirical data. Like, I don't have the facts to say this is why people, or women, especially over 50, are so hesitant making major changes. Is it fear of technology? Is it fear of social media? I don't know. So I had to kind of look at the internet. In fact, it was really interesting because the question was on my video about how to not be overwhelmed by information overload, and you can see that video here on the screen if you click on it, or in my descriptions below. So I have to say that, you know, that could be part of it, but I had to go and Google and figure out, you know, what are other people saying. So in the meantime, there was also a video on YouTube by somebody that I follow that came up that asked kind of a similar question. So I watched that and got some more information and just kind of going from my gut instinct. So that's how I'm coming up with the answer to your question, Laurie. The way I put it on Google is, are women over 50 afraid of technology? And Fab After 50, which is a UK, that is United Kingdom website, says they have they call it technophobia. That is, for anybody, is the fear of technology. And they said during the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century, people were afraid of machines. And these days, it could be people are afraid of cyber technology or artificial intelligence. So that there is a real thing for people of any age. However, also people today are fear of viruses affecting your computer or your phone, online scams, or having your identity stolen. All of those things are, people have fears today. One of the things they said is that you have to realize how much our lives have changed. Like for me, I'm over 50, how much technology has changed in just my lifetime. And I can't imagine anybody who's any older than I, because then that means the longer you live, the faster things change. In fact, the article from Fab Over 50 said, how has digitalization changed our lives in the last 30 plus years? And it's just amazing. So it's kind of wonder, it's kind of not unheard of for people over 50 to be that hesitant about using technology, because it is a huge change. I mean, and people, you know, this channel is about change. People don't handle change very well. So to have it happening in the world around you is a big deal. In fact, I remember one time I was talking to an older woman in the church that I served when I was a pastor, and she said, well, you know, I don't have any computers. And I thought to myself, I said, yes, you do, you just don't know it. You have a computer in your car, you have a computer in your microwave, you have a computer in your refrigerator. To say and be not that naive and say, well, I don't have any computers is, crazy, because we are just surrounded by technology today. So it's kind of one of these things where we make me be afraid of it, but it's kind of hard to get away from it. When I looked at another article, EasyTechSeniors.com had an article called 16 Reasons Why Seniors Struggle with New Technology. And there were 16 reasons, so I'm not going to go through all of those, but one of the ones that I, really resonated with was there's such a big gap between the major changes that have taken place and a person's lifetime. Like I was saying, this is a huge deal. Changes in technology have increased so much that is hard for somebody my age or older to really grasp. Even though we have these big gaps, that seniors, people over 50, are really having to learn to adapt to them. And in fact, an article in Psychology Today called Geriatric Technophobia, written by Morton Shavitz, I knew I was going to mispronounce his name, said that what happens is that a lot of older folks will go and they'll go shopping for new technology and they will get lost in the jargon, or they will buy something like a car and it has too many bells and whistles that they can't understand it. And in fact, when my own father and my stepmother sold their cars and bought a new one, I was kind of relieved. She wanted a Mercedes and it had one of the top of the line. It had all these different things. And I was kind of relieved because I felt like my dad would not drive that car. He didn't need to be driving because of all the bells and whistles. It would be too much technology. He wasn't used to it. So I was actually kind of not as worried because she's much younger than he is. But anyway, this article said that 73% of older adults were introduced to social media by relatives. In fact, that the best way to get an older person to understand technology is have a relative, a child or grandchild, a cousin, whoever, to show them how things work. Now, you have to understand that a person who is older is going to be more easily frustrated and more easily, not catch on as quickly as younger people, and that has to do with the age gap. I think it also has to do with the fact that people think, oh, I'm old, I can't do technology. And in fact, that leads me to the video that I watched, and it's a person on YouTube called Lisa D1. I recommend her videos. I think she posts about every day. A lot of times she talks about makeup and fashion, which is not my thing, but she will have these videos that her personality shines through, and she really talks about her own struggle. She talks about weight loss. She talks about dealing with some health issues. She talks about going through menopause. All of these things are very real for women my age. And what she says is that how much of this is holding you back. The title of her video is What is Holding You Back? How to Change Your Life, Women Over 40. And what she said, so much of what's holding us back is in our heads. And I think that's true. Maybe you do have a fear. Maybe it's a real fear. But a lot of times it's like you think, I'm too old to learn this new technology, so I'm not going to learn this new technology. And she said, okay, you have to do these things. You have to have determination, faith, family support, learn that you have lots of talents. Nothing you want is too silly. You have lots of dreams. Maybe your dreams are different. You have new dreams. And you have to say to yourself, is this it? No, it isn't over. And she said she's learned changing her diet has really changed the way she sleeps, and she wakes up now excited. She has found a purpose in her life, and part of that is doing videos on YouTube. And she talks about this voice in her head that kept saying, well, you won't be able to travel because of your health issues. You have to go to the bathroom all the time, or it, makes you look real puffed up, or, you can't wear that outfit anymore. All these things were voices in her heads. In fact, I have a video that I just did about the voices in your head. Just check it out if you have these negative thoughts in your head that are holding you back. End of the video, she talks about getting a new camera and not using it because she was afraid or scared of learning how. She didn't know how to use a camera. It was new technology for her, but she realized she just needed to go and do it. Just try it. And in fact, I think that's the truth. I think technology nowadays, it's a trial and error. And I think older people, and I include myself in that generation, I guess, is that we would learn things by somebody would give us instructions and then we would go do them. But nowadays, a lot of times our technology is such, it is trial and error. You have to fail a couple of times to learn the correct way of doing it. And we have a really hard time. That is not the way we learned how to do things. So it really does hold us back. Well, Laurie, I hope that answered your question. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody over age 50, but I think that does have a big deal to do with, working with social media or being, online or using Google. All of those things, really sometimes we are holding ourselves back. We are giving ourselves these negative pep talks, and we have to just basically have some determination and trial and error, and maybe find a relative who can help us walk through it and figure out how it works. I'm looking for your questions to answer in future videos. And I also have been asking this question: what are some things in your life that you are proud of accomplishing? I haven't had a lot of responses, but I know there's at least one thing in your life that you're proud of accomplishing. I want to know that. Please tell me in the comments. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, and share. And have a great one.